Hello Fly Nation and welcome to the Freestyle Your Life podcast, the one and only podcast inspiring you to live your authentic greatness while teaching you that less is more. I'm your host, Erneste Zimmermann, and I'm on my mission to help you to be the hero you were meant to be and to live what you came for in life and in business. Remember, the quest we came here for is to discover our true nature, explore our potential and share it by living. I'm curious about our today's interview guest, Michael Neeley, and he's leading the Authority Academy and 2 podcasts, Consciously Speaking and By This Not That. So let's jump right in. So today I have Michael Neeley on the podcast, and I'm so excited that you're here, and thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. And he is running 2 podcasts, Consciously Speaking and By This Not That. And I'm sure he's going to share something about that and his new project, maybe the Hive, whatever you're just doing. You're such a busy man and doing great things. We're totally both the conscious people, right? So let's share something about that with our listeners, maybe about your book. Whatever you want to share is perfect for me, Michael. Let's go ahead.
Great. Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on, Ernest.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
So, I think we had kind of a similar path as far as evolving into the conscious beings that we are and then wanting to spread that out to the world. And of course, for me, there's kind of the crossover between the entrepreneurial world as well. And the reason for that is because I want to create a ripple effect. And so a lot of the work that I do is geared towards waking people up, but beyond that is helping other people to get their message out to the world to wake people up, and therefore it creates a bigger ripple effect.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, we share that. We have almost anything in common. So we are the perfect fit here. So that's our goal, even with the podcast. And podcast is a great opportunity to share advice, to share tips, and to inspire others to jump on that train, right?
Yeah.
And to come to the transformation. Because if we go on like that, you're almost like me about the world. We will not going to save it for our grandchildren, right?
Right.
And we both agree we have a responsibility to do something about it. So that's a big point of us too. And also the listeners are interested in that. So
excellent.
Share a little bit about Hive, maybe? You can explain it better than me.
Sure. Yeah, Hive is actually just it's like my most recent child, the recent evolution of the work that I'm doing. I came up with the idea for Hive right around Christmas. Okay. And what it stands for is Harnessing Integral Vibrational Energy, Hive. And I chose Hive as an acronym because one of the things that appeals to me about it is creating a hive mind where we're all vibrating on a similar frequency. And when we're doing that, it creates a higher vibration that keeps kind of everybody on a same upward trajectory and movement. It's kind of like bees. Bees communicate. Yeah. We're all working through a hive consciousness. And for me, there's more science to it. It definitely can feel a little bit woo-woo, but there's also the science behind it. And if you listen to anything from Nikola Tesla or Albert Einstein about the fact that everything is energy and frequency. Definitely. Yeah, and when we match that frequency, if we create and start to vibrate at the frequency of the reality that we want to create, we can bring that into existence. And so Hive is a membership community in which people who are like-minded, who want to raise their frequency, raise their vibration, and do so in support of the planet, come together twice a month. And on the first call of each month, we actually do a guided meditation where we're all raising our frequency, and not just individually. Of course, this helps the individual, but it also creates this community vibration.
Right. Yeah. It's much more effective. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the second call of each month, we bring on a guest expert to help train in areas that will allow us to raise our frequency and keep it there, so that we develop practices that are ongoing to allow us to keep this frequency high. And so I created this as a membership type of a setup where people who are drawn to this can join in, and I've kept it super reasonably priced, to make it accessible to everyone. It's $1 for the first month for a trial. And then if you stay on beyond that, right now we have the founding members joining right now, any new members, because it's just being birthed. It's $27 a month.
Yeah, that's totally affordable. It's great.
Totally.
I love the project. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's our goal with that, is just to really build this community of like-minded people who hopefully, when we raise this frequency, we can save the planet. I know it's a lofty goal, but that's part of our mission with it.
We go for that. We only need a minority to do it, right?
Exactly.
That's lovely. So, well, it's all about frequency and energy. That's the whole, every human being, the whole world, everything is about that. So we're going to work on that, of course. And every partnership, every friendship, every business, team play, whatever is energy, right? If you fit together or not, it's absolutely, it depends on the energy level you're on. And so hopefully we can, that's my goal here and my mission, to up-level the energy and really to spread the impact and to inspire people to wake up and to stand up and to share their voice.
Absolutely. And for anybody who's thinking, that they don't get it, or maybe that they don't necessarily even fully believe it, imagine, anytime, I'm sure all of us at one time or another have gone into a room and met somebody that for some reason or another, we just don't like them. And or we just feel uncomfortable around them. Right. And it's because our bodies pick up on the frequencies of other vibrational beings, and we're all vibrational beings. And so when we pick up on that, we have this immediate either connection or disconnection.
Yes.
And Hive is about bringing more awareness to that and how to elevate our own connection, because that's the other piece too, is we've also probably gone into a room where we're immediately attracted towards somebody's energy, and we don't necessarily know why. And similar, so with the Hive, we want to raise our vibrational frequency so that we become those beings that will attract more, and then we can elevate the whole planet. So,
yeah, and also first and foremost, find out what energy level we are in. Right? We don't have the problem. We even before meeting in Tampa in person, we were just never saw, but we were totally aligned, right? But exactly, it is. We have people. We just feel they rather stay away, please. It's like that. So to share this with the listeners here, it's a big advice, and that's my goal also, because the energy work is really the inner work. That's what we can work on. I cannot change you, so not my partner, no, not my teammates here or whatever. We all we can do is change ourselves, and also freestyle. That's what my company is all about. To free yourself from whatever sucks. So I had plenty of pieces that I could free myself from, a marriage and work partners and whatever didn't feel good or even corrupted my soul. I just freed up from that. And that's really essential, to do the process, to come to the point to style life at own terms, right? So most of us are evolutionary in the man and women chain there. So men don't have to cry. We had that on the summit, for example. what I highly consider a man that can cry for really very strong, but it's still the belief inside that, they shouldn't show emotions, right? But emotions are everything. So if we cannot share emotions or show them, we're almost dead, right? So that makes us really to show the passion and to show love and if we like other people, that's what it is all about. And most people are trying to hide and scary about that. I think this is a real big topic.
It's massive.
And it all starts with our thoughts, of course. But I consider the emotions and to work on them, if we carry on baggage from the past, which we bring on to the new, for example, relationship, it's all long gone, right? But it's still inside and stuck and gives us problems. So,
yeah, totally. If we don't actually take the time to fully feel and process our emotions, we may think, oh, I don't really feel that. And that's just a method of tamping it down, stuffing it.
Right.
And at some point or another, it's going to seep out. Sometimes it's going to seep out in little ways, but can still do real damage to your relationships, or it's going to come out in an explosive way. And this is when people snap a lot of times and do some crazy stuff. So we really need to learn to process these emotions as they come up for us and feel them fully, because they're just, it's like thoughts too. They're fleeting. They come and they go in frequently waves. And if you can't hold back the ocean. And so similarly, we really need to let these emotions pass through as well.
Right. But it's at least it's the inner child that suffered long time ago, and it's still awake and present there and just wants to be heard, right?
Yeah.
So I did a lot of work on the inner child because my childhood was not that lovely. Let's put it like that. But it was even hard, and I had to do a lot of work there, because otherwise we keep on processing these old emotions from circumstances and experiences we made, in my case, 50 years ago. What a crazy time. But I still did carry it with me, because I stuck it so deep down and I hardly couldn't manage myself to get it, to grab it. But it's always working. That's what your book, I consider as fantastic. And the book is named The Art of Forgetting, the First Step Toward Lasting Change. And this is exactly what we are talking about. I just want to hold it here so the listeners can see it. Hopefully like that should be good.
Yeah,
and good. It's a great book, and it's exactly about that process, right? How to the thoughts we have, how to notice, how to get self-aware of it, and then be able to change them.
Absolutely. And the reason it's called The Art of Forgetting is because stuff happens to us. There are the facts of what happens in life.
Yeah.
For instance, as an example, you may be in a relationship and your partner breaks up with you. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they may come to you and say, I want to break up with you. That's a fact. Relationship's over. Then our minds, these meaning-making machines, we go and we create all these stories about what happened. Yeah. We create the story that, oh, I must have done something wrong, or I'm not good enough, or my partner was a jerk, or whatever you might create your story about. And then we do this a few times, and those stories become the facts, and they're not. And so the art of forgetting is about erasing those elements that we made up and sticking to just what the facts are. And then if we're gonna, because, I mean, let's face it, our minds are built to make things up, to give meaning to things. That if we're going to give a meaning, let's give a powerful one. You know, let's give things a meaning that empower us to move forward stronger and better than we were before, and not things that are going to take us down.
Right. But I know plenty of people, of course, have a problem to, like you name it, go into the next conversation or meeting or whatever, such as a free plate, an empty plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you call it. And of course, this is difficult because we haven't had, this guy was cheating or whatever, and he behaved like such and such. And what advice can you give us, our listeners, to free ourselves from that?
I think the biggest thing is, as with any new methodology that you're learning, consider it even like a sport. If you were to learn a new sport, you have to develop muscle memory, and you may have to unlearn certain things.
Exactly.
And so the practice, I suggest practicing these types of things and break down the habitual autopilot that we're stuck in. And some of the little practices I like to give people to really just first to tune into it is the next time you brush your teeth, use the opposite hand that you normally do.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you'll notice, I now have to pay attention. I can't do this on autopilot like I normally do.
Right. Exactly.
And it'll take a little more time, but the idea behind it is that you start to break these old neural patterns. And then similarly, when you go into meet with someone, then it's to bring awareness to it and go, okay, I'm going to let go of everything that I think I know about this person and meet them as though I've never met them before. And let the world of possibility open up. And it takes practice, and it's a muscle building thing, but do these practices, and then you will start to develop that as a habitual way of being, as opposed to our old habits, which are, I already know it all. I already know how to brush my teeth. I already, let go of all that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the expectations we have out of what is going to come or what is going to happen, that's really key to how it will go, right? Because we have in mind, might go wrong, or be careful on that, and so we have the expectations in mind. So we get to show that the expectation is right, because we have the thinker in there, and the two parts of the brain, and the only thing he does is to look wherever in our life was a similar experience to prove our thought right.
Yes.
So that's the system behind, and to cut this pattern, it's exactly the way to be self-aware, become self-aware, to notice what I'm thinking, what is going on here, and to give it a new try, right?
Yeah. It's the whole reason why double-blind studies were created, was because if the physician, and a double-blind, for anybody who may not know what that means, a blind study is the patient does not get to know whether they're being given a placebo or the actual drug. Yeah. And a double-blind study means the physician doesn't get to know whether they're giving you the placebo or the actual drug. And the reason they created the double-blind studies was because they discovered that the physician knowing actually had an impact on the patient's outcome.
Right.
And so this is like exactly what we're talking about. If the doctor went into this relationship of doing the study and had the expectation that that patient would get better, that patient would get better. Whether they were given the placebo or not didn't even matter as much. It's about the expectations.
Yeah.
And so that's why they made these studies now double blind, to remove that element. But we do it in everyday life. If we expect our partner to react a certain way, the chances of them reacting that way have now gone up.
Yeah, so big. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I learned it my own way when I had the cancer illness, and I lost my consciousness. So I lost everything there, and this was really hard, because I have two, as you know, I have two sons, and I have two companies here, and household and everything, and the dog and the partner, and it's a mess. And to be able to just manage it, sort of managing it, I developed to be a multitasking genius, right? I was great at it, doing 5 to 7 things at once and learning and speaking to client and going with the dog at the same time, all that. But one day it just knocked out my head because it was going too long on this high speed and over driving it. And it's so at the end, we are no machines. I had to learn that. So then I discovered what I was doing on autopilot, all exactly these things we are talking about, is all running on unconsciously on autopilot. We are not thinking about it, right? And that's so very important to notice it and to become aware of it. And I consider remembering what we used to be, because we took on so many things in life. We are not good enough, and all these limiting beliefs, they are mostly not ours, but we took them on in school or from teachers or from whatever, and we should get rid of that to become ourselves again, because that's our source, right? And another question I wanted to discuss with you, Michael, is we are all stressed out nowadays. It's just like that. No matter where we are in the world, it's busy. It's the internet, it's the mails and everything coming in every second here. It's hardly impossible to cope with everything, right? But we had just a friend of ours in our group. We are together here. I just wrote her this afternoon. So the question is, how do we step back and how can we find our source of energy and frequency and to refill it? Because I had to learn it, and no matter what, I really have so many interviews on the hook here, but still when it's noon or whatever, when I feel like, I'm gone, and I'm gone 3 hours to go golfing because I need it. I need to be outside, and I need a break. If I don't do it, I end up where I already was, pushing my head against the wall, right? So we need to feel something. Of course, for everybody, it's for you maybe meditating, as it's for me also. I strongly need that, but we need to find what is a sort of reset for us to refill our batteries, right?
Absolutely. And it was interesting that you asked this, Ernesto. One of the friends of mine I was hanging out with last night shared with me, she said, I love your calm energy. You never seem to get frazzled or worried or, caught up in these emotional frequencies of being concerned about where things are going. And for me, it really just brought my attention to it, her bringing that up, because I think one of the practices that I've put into place is that I have a very deep understanding that I think is super valuable for anybody to really get this on a deep level, is that we're only here for a very short while. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, nothing that we do in the big picture, and I'm talking the big picture of the universe, we're talking hundreds of thousands of years, nothing that we do today really matters.
Right. Yes,
now, I know for some people can take that and think, oh, well, then why should I give a crap about anything? No, I'm not saying it like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying relax a little bit and then make up the game. Play the way you want to play, have your impact on the world, but then relax in knowing that in 100 years from now, it's all going to be forgotten. 10 years from now, today will be forgotten.
Even next year.
Even next year, And the longer the time goes out, more and more is forgotten. So don't worry too much about it. Do the best you can, be the best you can be, and relax.
Right.
So that's my kind of methodology that I approach the world with.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I totally agree with your friend, because when I'm feeling you, or I met you, for me it's just like holidays with you. Because it's so smooth and it's so easy, and with other people we feel like
Good.
It's a brilliant energy which we share there. But yes, it's really also about being anxious all the time. Yeah, thousand things can happen. We don't know about it, but if we keep on being anxious about everything, or if I share my example, I have two sons, 19 and 21. On motorbikes. This is not a nice thing for a mother, right? So everybody surely can imagine. So I had hard times for them coming back home, and of course they had the accidents, and once the hospital calls at 11 o'clock at night, you rather come directly, and this was my taller son, Rico. I was so, I even couldn't drive to the hospital because I was so afraid, and it was a bad accident. So this is, but even so, I trained myself not to worry up front because before the hospital is going to call me, right? Because then I already expect something, and that's the same thing we were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
And it kills myself too.
It does.
And that's but it's a process to become aware of that, and to say, okay, anyway, I cannot change it. If what happens happens, and to become aware if we expect those things, and plenty of people, that as me, they are worrying all about it all the time, nearly all the time. What will be this and what will be that? And you're corrupting your soul with doing that, right?
You really are. It's such a waste of your energy that could be used more creatively. Yeah,
it's waste of energy and waste of time. Because at our age here, we don't have another 100 years, right? Probably not. It's a shame, but then we should try to enjoy the time we have here. So I totally came to this conclusion that I will enjoy, and if somebody is not for me, or I think I don't need this no more, then I just stay away. I'm friendly, I say goodbye, and it's good. Yeah. So we always have the possibility to do that without being bad to the other person, but we just don't surround ourselves with them. And
right.
That's our choice.
It is, and this goes back to the vibrational frequency that we talked about, Ernesta, is that we want to surround ourselves with people who are vibrating at a higher level, and it helps us to keep our vibrational frequency up, and you support each other in that. And then there are people out there who will drag you down, not even on purpose, but they just haven't learned it yet, and they're still vibrating at a lower frequency.
Yeah, but then it's our decision to say, no, I don't need to stick to it.
Right.
For good, but goodbye, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to share here. And our listeners, of course, can do this themselves. It's just to notice, to become aware, and to be authentic. Or authenticity, it's such a bad word for me. Authenticity is my topic, because I have gone through this whole process, and I'm not doing anything which is not authentic to me. I will clearly state, okay, that's fine with me, and any other thing that doesn't fit there, I will tell up front. But most of the people just playing roles and just to have sort of harmony, which most of the time even isn't, they don't share what they really think and feel. And that's the bad thing about it, you know. We are on a level that we can feel it, but plenty of people are not. And for them, it's necessary just to say, I don't like it. Nothing bad about it. Just share open-minded what your thoughts and your feelings are. Maybe the other one doesn't know, you know. It's the man and women couple thing. Yeah. Why, as a woman, we make big ideas and everything and suppose the man to act in a certain way, but we don't tell him most of the time, right? Yeah. Right. So it's not just him, it's us too, because we don't clearly show up and say, well, honey, I would love this or this or this. So he knows. It could be easy. But we have to become aware of all these processes that underlying on the surface they are running there. So I made my life pretty simple and easy, like since I recognized all that, right? Yeah. I didn't know before, but then after my transformation, I'm completely visible and well. I will just share if something is right for me or not. And that's only fair, right?
Absolutely. And one of the challenges that I think we run into is societally, what we are shown as examples are not good examples. What the media presents to us is ways to convince us that we need more or that we should do this or that we should do that. And it's total misguidance. Yeah. And it really is time for us to get back to who we are and our true essence and our true nature and let go of all of the inundation that we're hit with by the media that tries to sway us in a certain direction, which is not right. So
yeah, totally. I quit that a long time ago because it's keeping us busy and anxious and everything, and it doesn't lead to nowhere.
Right? Yeah, and even our entertainment.
Right.
You know, movies that don't represent, they show us the lower vibrational, the lower frequency relationships out there, and we think that's the norm. Yeah. Instead of realizing there is a different way to be in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly it's not shown. So I did quit that, and that I would advise everybody not to stick to the news every hour. Yeah, it's terrible surrounding yourself with that, because they pretty much don't show the lovely things that happen, but it's just crap and bad and whatever sucks and happens. It's just it's the sort of energy, shocking energy, right? Yeah. And after all, I think that's not good for us, especially not for high sensitive people, which even react on more on that, right?
Yeah. So, you just gave me an idea maybe for a new podcast. It may have already been taken, but I'm thinking that there should be something called Good News. Yes. And have it just be the news of the great things that are happening in the world so that people can become inspired by that as opposed to just seeing all the garbage all the time.
Yeah. Because there are plenty great news, right? But we just don't get to hear it because they try to attack us with the negative shit there. Sorry for that, but I really feel it like that. We should do this podcast together. Would be great. Yeah, because the news more up-leveling and encouraging things rather than all the crap out there.
Right. And their excuse is that sells, that it's the bad news that sells and gets more viewers. And maybe it does, but so what? Stop worrying about selling. Help the planet. You know, it's like that's when you start selling to people because more people are going to want to watch it when you show, 20 people killed in this mass shooting or something, and you're going to want to put that on the news because you know that's sensationalism and it's going to get more viewers. But so what? You're dragging down society and creating more of that. So stop showing the crap. Yeah, your ratings may go down, but you know what? You'll be saving the planet. Take a positive step towards making this
Right.
the world a better place to live.
Yeah. Absolutely. I really deeply believe we have to do that, and just in this second, right? We cannot wait any longer.
Right.
I just was reading a study last week about the pollution and the plastic waste in our oceans, right? Which around 25, it's not long from now, it's 6 years. Will partly be more plastic than fishes.
Oh my goodness.
And with the food chain, we are eating our own plastic waste. So this is completely unbelievable for me. I don't understand such a shit. How can we act on that?
Yeah. There is some stuff happening. I wish that it would pick up and happen more, but I know there are places like San Francisco which have outlawed plastic bottled water. So now, you can't get the throwaway containers because we've become such a society of disposability. We want stuff easy to consume and throw it away, this away. Yeah. And so there are cities that are taking steps to reduce that. I just wish the whole planet would do more of that because, bottled water is one of the major contributors to all the plastics in the ocean. And we don't need to be using these disposable bottles, refill our own.
Right. And even it's not good for our health because of the
BPA and everything else.
Yeah. It's really totally bad.
Yeah. Use glass bottles.
But it's sort of comfortable. I don't know why people go for such a shit. I'm missing sort of brain to understand that. But, the case is, it is. So we try to make a stand for more responsibility on that topic. I really believe we have to do that because otherwise our grandchildren will not like my technical assistant here. He's a year older than my son. He's 23, so he's gonna get kids someday. We probably grandchildren, we both, and most listeners maybe too. So we should leave this paradise as paradise for them and not as a threshold. Yeah. So thanks for having you.
It's a pleasure.
On the call, and I think we got some topics here to mention for our listeners, which we both consider as very important. Is there anything else you wanted to add or ask or give a tip or advice, Michael?
Just whatever you're up to in the world, especially if you are a heart-centered entrepreneur, someone who's got a message that you're trying to get out to the world and you want to step forward with a message and save the planet, take action. I mean, I'm all for supporting you in this type of work to get your voice heard, get your message out to the world. I do it through podcasting, but I also do it through speaking on stage, live events, writing my book. There are a lot of ways to get your message out to the world. And so whatever that is that's burning inside you to get out there, take action. And I know Ernesta and I would both be more than happy to support you in that. Yeah, I know you have programs on that. To help people to become the expert nobody knows about, right? Yeah, I do. Expert. Want to share something about that too? Absolutely. So one of the things that I teach is the 4 foundational pillars of authority, which include podcasting, virtual summits, speaking from stage, and getting your book published. And I'd like to offer to your listeners a first step of that. I have this report that can help you with your podcast. It's called the Simple 5-Step Process to launch a rockin' podcast in just 14 days. Right. And so I'd like to offer that as a free gift to anybody who's interested. And so we can put a link in your show notes or on your website for that. That would be wonderful. Yeah. And then I do a live event that's called Your Authority Blueprint Live. I do that twice a year. And so I'd like to extend an invitation to anybody who wants to join me for that. Would love to have you out here in California with me. It's in Santa Cruz, right? This next one will be in Santa Cruz. Yeah. Yeah. And I may shift them around. I'm thinking of doing the next one maybe near Santa Cruz, like maybe San Jose or potentially even Los Angeles. Just want to mix it up a little bit to open it up to a bigger crowd.
Okay. And it's twice a year, a 3-day event, right?
That is right, yeah.
And there's you and other speakers?
I do. I invite other speakers on stage who share other information that will support you in getting your message out to the world. But that's what it's all geared towards. I'm not going to be bringing on speakers talking about off topic. It'll all be about how to get your message out there in a big way.
Right. Yeah, because that's our goal we have in common, right? To support the people. Everybody has a message, right? It's just,
exactly
about the process of finding back to ourselves, finding the purpose we have inside if we don't know it already, and then act on it. That's it. That's the whole thing. And so we, in sort of our media channels and the channels you just mentioned, and podcast is a brilliant one for that, we can give people a stage to speak here. That's why I said I will not only bring experts like you on the stage here, but I will also give people who went through traumatic situations and really shown a brilliant resilience factor there to survive such things. I will also give them a stage because I consider them really as experts, even though they don't work in that field or they don't have the certificate. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They have survived whatever bad thing happened, right? And by doing this, they are experts. They did something right. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here no more.
Absolutely.
I consider that as very important to give those people a stage also to share what they did so others, the listeners, can learn from it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Get that message out there.
Yeah, it's not always the whole talk, but it's just an idea or whatever we shared that clicks and you say, oh man, I'm going to notice from now on a little bit more what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, and I want to express myself. If that was what we could attempt here today, that's brilliant. We've done it. We've made it, right? It's all about inspiring and motivating people to become more aware and to show up authentic, which is the only, for my consideration, a way to be fulfilled. Because money isn't. Otherwise, all the rich people would be just better than fulfilled, right? With millions. They are not. They even commit suicide or whatever. So this is not the thing that makes us truly happy inside. It's the inside job we have to do to find into that fulfillment.
Exactly.
And if that was a tip or idea we shared here, hopefully you get it out there, my dear listeners, and that was our intention. So is there anything more to add from your side, Michael?
I want to thank you so much for having me on, Ernesta. Vielen Dank. And I want to also just invite anybody to reach out to you or to me, and they can connect to me through you, however, because we're here to support you. And so just let us know how we can.
Yeah, we mentioned all that in the show notes, so the listeners can reach out either to you or to me, and especially to you for all the programs and what we just could talk about. The tip of the iceberg. It's plenty you're providing there, so we all have it in the show notes. But hopefully we could spread a good thought and an idea here. So thanks for having you. Love you. And have a good time. And bye-bye. Bye. Our today's interview was with Michael Neeley. He's leading 2 podcasts, Consciously Speaking and By This Not That, and the Authority Academy. We explored what energy and frequency means for our whole life, for nature, and how we match the frequency of the reality. And hopefully we can enhance the quality and the frequency on this planet, and in order to save this planet. Thank you for listening today. I hope you got new inspiration to level up your life. Feel free to share the Fly podcast with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to be sure to catch your next transformational success stories. You will find all links and recaps in the description. Please rate and review either on freestyleyourlifepodcast.com or on your favorite podcast directory. All questions asked in the comment field or on social media will be answered in special episodes. Looking forward to inspire you next week. Have a great day and go for your dreams. Remember, Fly Nation, break free and fly. Talk to you next week. Bye.